Hi, and welcome to Planning Preview for the City of Sioux Falls. We're going to be talking a little bit about our upcoming agenda items that are going to be in our Planning Commission meeting coming up on December 2nd. So we hope that all of you can join us and you'll hear a little bit about what we're going to discuss. And then at the end of our meeting, we'll also have a public discussion for things that aren't on the agenda. So if you'd like to come talk to the Planning Commission, that would be your chance to do that as well. So today I have Jason Bieber with me. Hi Jason, how are you doing?
Good, doing good today.
Good. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming agenda.
Yep.
Thank you for joining me. And we've got quite a few items on the agenda, but a few of them are related. So I'll try and cover those in tandem with each other, if that sounds okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we kind of have a lot of items for November. I mean, not as many items as the last couple of months, but typically in November, or December, we're down to usually 4 or 5 items. People are kind of slowing down, but we keep ramping up, which is good. So
you bet, it is. We're seeing a lot of activity for sure. The first one we've got is a preliminary subdivision plan for the Dove Ridge addition at 2100 East Walnut. And we also have a related item of the rezoning from RD1 and REC to the RD1 and, or only RD1 at that same address. That must be by Rice and 229, is that right?
Yeah, just way east on Walnut Street, it backs up to 229. And then just to the east of this actually is that archery place. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but
I haven't been out there, but I've seen it there.
It's currently a gravel road in front of that. So really what's happening with this one is the rezoning. There's just a little sliver on the east side that's not zoned RD1. Majority of it, probably 90% of the parcel is already zoned that way. So they're just kind of getting that little 100-foot little piece zoned RD1. And then they're looking to do a preliminary subdivision plan to construct kind of a cul-de-sac with some single-family houses around it in that area.
Okay, that sounds very nice.
Yeah.
About how many houses do you remember?
I think about 10 or so, and then that road will get paved and everything. So yeah,
small development.
Yeah,
Those are kind of nice.
Yep, not too big of an area, but yeah.
Yep, very good. Looks like our next one is a conditional use permit for a full-service restaurant at 1501 East 69th.
This is actually just in front of the USF Stadium, the parking lot there. There's a couple of buildings, and then as you get closer to Cliff, there's a couple of empty lots that's been grass. They're looking to construct a strip center on there, and then one of the tenants is looking to be a full-service restaurant out in that area. So,
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That sounds like that'll be nice. Looks like the next thing on our list is rezoning from O Office District to LW Live Work District at 1401 South Ellis Road. That must be just south of 22nd Street or thereabouts, right?
Yep, this is that kind of that southwest corner of 22nd and Ellis. We know Ellis is a very large arterial street. 22nd's a major collector. So what they're looking there is going from office to live work, and as you know, that gives us a little bit of that extra flexibility. They can do I think they're planning on doing an apartment on that lot. So.
And they have, with live work, they have options to do small office things as well as apartments, as well as a variety of things. There's also maybe a little bit higher interest in maybe making things more walkable for a larger development when that happens and that kind of thing, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, that's good to hear. We like those. Looks like the next one on our list is rezoning from Ag to RD1 Twin Home Duplex and Suburban District RS Single Family Residential at West Ritchie Drive and south of Broick Drive. I'm not real familiar with exactly where that is, but it must be out by Sanford Wellness on Ellis. Okay.
Yep, so we recently, this is kind of that 41st and Ellis intersection. As you know, the northeast corner has got the Fairway, it's getting a dollar store, some other strip centers, and then we recently, Lloyd Companies annexed in the northwest corner. They're looking at doing some mixed use and apartments on there. So this is kind of that southwest corner, a little ways off the Ellis intersection. That was recently annexed in probably about 2 months ago, so it's comes in as ag, and now the applicant's looking at constructing kind of some twin homes and single family on that lot.
Well, that's a pretty popular area in town lately.
It's grown crazy in the last 6 months. Essentially, a lot of acres of land have come into the city there and been ready for development. So
well, that's great. Looks like the next item we have is a conditional use permit to allow a full-service restaurant at 114 North Indiana. This must be just east of the 10th Street overpass.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is the old, it used to be Little Kalinga's back in the day, and now I believe it's Bubba J's. They're looking at, another lady's looking at going in there, kind of starting their own restaurant in there. They need a new license, obviously, for beer and wine. Therefore, they need that conditional use permit. So really the use inside's not changing, some paint and that kind of stuff. But with that new alcohol license, we have that separation distance, so they have to go to that public hearing. So
Sure. Makes sense. Looks like the next item for us is C2 Neighborhood Commercial, I1 Industrial, LW Live Work, and O Office to I1 Light Industrial, Live Work, C2 Neighborhood Commercial at Career Avenue and Frank Boyce Drive. That's a long description.
Yes.
But that's just west of STI somewhere, right?
yeah, so this is up on Marion and I believe Madison, kind of that southeast corner, and then on the northeast corner too. So that area was all kind of zone commercial and office, and everybody, when they get stuff ready, they need commercial land, and they want to sell it as commercial because they get the most money out of it. Well, that whole area is really kind of developed as light industrial. So this is kind of just taking that remaining portion that's along Marion and getting it into light industrial to do similar stuff that's already kind of up there. So
yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I know Planning Commission loves it when we can have smooth transitions and we're not too choppy from one thing to the next, and so that really aligns well with that general philosophy, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Looks like the next pair of things are an alternative site plan for both landscaping plan and a parking plan for the Avera behavioral health building or somewhere in that complex, right?
Yep, up in that same area. They're looking at doing an addition onto their building. They have some landscaping challenges trying to get everything in the front yard and to be able to put everything there. So they're looking for an alternative plan for that. And as we've seen maybe over the last 3 or 4 years when Avera's built some of their hospitals, like the one in 26 in Marion, and then I believe we did one in 69th and Cliff, the ordinance just doesn't take into account right now the number of employees and the number of people that are coming there and the number of like virtual visits and things. So we really require more parking than what they technically need. So that was that option that we added into Shape Places, which I think is great. They show us, hey, well, how much parking do I need? Here's our study. This is why we need this amount of parking. And that's really what then you guys can look at it and approve. So
Sure. And I love that we have that mechanism to really be able to adjust things for the actual need of that particular landowner.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep. And they know what they need for their customers, and why have 500 parking spaces just sitting there with nobody using them when you could have green space or landscaping or anything else,
Yep. It's a great point. Looks like the next one we have on our list is conditional use permit for on-sale alcohol at 1212 East 10th. Must be 10th and Cliff, the northeast corner by Drake Springs. Okay.
Yep. So this would be just to that east of the gas station that's there. Have you ever seen the Taqueria Sanchez food trucks always park there?
Yep.
And then if you go inside that building, there's like kind of a juice shop kind of thing. So they're just kind of, I think, looking to expand the actual business, the food truck, being able to utilize that interior area. And if you want to have a beer or wine with your tacos, that's really what they're looking to do.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Kind of, we've really seen those pop up all over town, and this is the first time we've actually seen it in front of us looking for an approval, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
Let's see, and it looks like our last item on our list is rezoning from Ag to C2 Neighborhood Commercial at 5001 South Sycamore. That must be that southwest corner of Sycamore and 57th. That's just a really hot area right now.
Yep, if you've been out there, they're getting I think, finishing touches on the new Silver Star car wash. And then this would be kind of northeast of that large apartment complex that was just built out there in the last couple of years. For some reason, there was kind of a little rectangular parcel right at the intersection of Sycamore and 57th that was zoned Ag. I think it was a part of a utility at some point.
Oh, okay.
That must have sold that aspect off to the applicant, and now they're looking to get it into commercial to construct a strip center on there, and makes complete sense for that intersection then just to be commercial.
Sure.
So
makes a lot of sense. Well, it's great to see so much things happening in town, and have any other parting thoughts for our audience?
Just let people know, I mean, we're busy, we're not slowing down, and we got some big projects coming in, so could be a record-breaking year by the time we get to January, and next year shaping up to be super busy and to really catch up what we lost out on the 6 months essentially. So
yeah, I think that's what I'm hearing too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us for this segment. Right after the break, we're going to be talking with Shannon Austin with the City of Sioux Falls and something about the Veterans Parkway and the latest updates there. So hopefully you'll stick around and join us for that as well. Thank you.
The City of Sioux Falls has an easy way for you to help your community. Simply download the City of Sioux Falls mobile app. The app can be used to ask a question or to report a variety of nuisances like potholes, graffiti, streetlights not working, abandoned vehicles, and more. You can even upload a photo with your report. Every report is immediately routed to the appropriate team so they can quickly respond. In addition to tracking your reports, the app allows you to view reports submitted by other users and learn when they've been resolved. Go to the App Store or Google Play stores and download the City of Sioux Falls app today.
Hi, and welcome back from the break. I have here with me Shannon Austin from the City of Sioux Falls. How are you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks so
just
much
fine.
for having me here.
You bet. I'm glad you could join us. I hear you have a little bit of an update regarding Veterans Parkway.
Yes, we are so excited to announce that the city and the Department of Transportation have decided to move forward very quickly, and quickly in our terms is within the next 5 years, of constructing the southern portion of Veterans Parkway from 57th Street all the way over to Interstate 29.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
And where is it connecting at Interstate 29? I've
right-
seen some maps, but it's a little hard to tell.
Yeah, it's actually at the Highway 106 or the T exit, otherwise known as 271st Street. So it's an existing interchange, and we are basically, Veterans Parkway will meander through some fields and go along the section line road in some areas and then hook up to the actual interchange.
And will that be, how long is the construction until that's all reconnected? Is that going to close that entrance, I assume, for a couple of years or something like that?
You know, we're going to be constructing Veterans Parkway in segments. And so we're going to start first where we have the most right-of-way and wherever we get the right-of-way first. And so we may not actually connect into Interstate 29 until 2023, 2024, 2025. We just don't know yet.
Probably.
Yeah, we just don't know yet. Basically, wherever we get the right-of-way is where we'll start. And our first year of construction right now, we are proposing in 2023.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so we will be very busy between now and January of 2023.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of projects come through anticipating where that highway is going to be. Now, Veterans Parkway is the way it's referred to most often right now. Highway 100, is that still going to be a designation for it then?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Back in the day, when we first started looking at this corridor, we started looking at it in actually 1993. It was one of my first projects that I was working on as a fresh engineer, and it was the East Side Corridor. And then it was the 229 bypass, or it was 629. And then we decided we did not need another interstate corridor. We just needed a regional arterial network that basically allowed access, more access than what the interstate system allowed, and had at-grade intersections that basically would slow traffic down. So it's not going to be 229 or Interstate 29 with 65, 70 miles an hour. It's going to be signals every mile, and the speed limit's probably going to be anywhere from 50 to 55 miles per hour. So it was East Side Corridor, and then it was South Dakota Highway 100, and then it was Powder House, and then it was Highway 100 and Highway 11, and now it's Veterans Parkway. So they all reference the same corridor.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, as some of those projects are happening, they will all have proper kind of grade change type of intersections, I assume, rather than, you talked earlier about that potentially being a like an interstate type system, which is a whole lot different, as we both know, if any of us that go down 229. And I'm imagining doing this route really saves a lot of money for the city and the citizens, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, interchanges typically cost anywhere between 20 to 25 million. And when we're going to have at-grade intersections, which is more like let's say the intersection of Minnesota Avenue and 85th Street, where it's at grade, that's probably typically about 5 to 7 million just to build out in all the lanes in all directions. So we save, a lot of money just by not having to separate and have a separated grade.
Right, huge amounts.
Yes.
And then the north end, I know Veterans Parkway is planned to connect to Interstate 90.
Yes.
It looks like it's getting closer every time I drive by there.
Yes, my fingers are crossed. My connections with the DOT have said, everything's going well. They are pouring the deck, and they just have some final paving to do at each ends of the structures. But we're hopeful and very optimistic that by Christmas, if not sooner, we will be able to go up to Interstate 90, which from those that have been working on it for a long time, it's a huge, huge victory.
Well, I'm an East Sider,
Yes.
so that would be a nice advantage to get on the Interstate 90 for sure.
Me too.
Yes, definitely. What are some of the other effects that you've seen from the city as far as development? I've noticed there seems to be a lot going on both sides of Veterans Parkway. It really has seemed to spur a lot of development, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, Dolly Farm Village, which is right there between Arrowhead Parkway and 26th Street, you've seen initially you saw a lot of growth with Walmart and then Target, and then with more stores coming in and development happening in that commercial area. As you continue to go south, a lot of residential homes between 41st Street and 49th. You'll see a lot of that type development as we turn the corner at 57th Street and head over to Interstate 29. A lot of churches and apartments and sports facilities adjacent to the corridor. Maybe not necessarily single family homes, at least unless they have deep backyards, just kind of separate out that a little bit. But higher end uses, higher end commercial value, and apartments are great neighbors to the corridor.
Yeah. And how has been the reception from Harrisburg? I would imagine this is going to affect kind of their traffic flow too.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. In fact, T and Harrisburg and Lincoln County, we're very good cooperative agencies working together on the region. And this corridor has always been thought of as a regional arterial corridor to benefit all the communities surrounding Sioux Falls. Brandon even also, for those folks that are coming in from the east side, hopping on 100 and going over to, 85th Street or Minnesota Avenue is rather than going straight through town, it's better. It's a more thorough transportation system. So we haven't had those discussions immediately yet with any of the Harrisburg and T, but those are forthcoming in the upcoming months.
Okay, well that's great to hear.
Yeah.
And then I've just a personal question. As Highway 11 comes to this Veterans Parkway, as it turns onto Highway 11, or what has been Highway 11, how's that interchange going to work? Is that just a grade thing?
Yeah,
or?
so basically Highway 11 as it comes up from Canton will get realigned into the Veterans Parkway alignment, and then 69th Street will come and realign down, so it's a full four-legged intersection. So 69th Street and Highway 11 will intersect at grade at Veterans Parkway, and then the portion of Highway 11 that would continue to go north on the old alignment basically gets downgraded into just a collector street and eventually be turned over to the city of Sioux Falls.
Oh, okay.
And so it'll be worked into the developments south of 57th Street and east of Veterans Parkway to kind of hopefully make that connection from 57th Street down, to the 69th Street. So it's those are things that are still we're working through with the developers, but just like with Highway 106, as it continues to go east and west, there's a brand new roundabout at Louise and 271st Street that the Lincoln County just built. Great facility. But as you continue to go to the west, Highway 106 will then basically stop and be cul-de-saced because it can't connect into Veterans Parkway because it's too close. And so people that are going to the west on 106 will go up Louise and then go down Veterans Parkway to get to the interchange. So some of these arterial connections are going to look differently. And, that's why our public involvement process is so important. And, after the first of the year in 2021, we'll have all kinds of public information, probably virtual public meetings, information for people to go out there and actually start getting more involved. It's just, we're getting all the agreements put in place now, so we've been busy.
How has been, since you talked about it, how's been the reception of the community and the citizens? Are they really looking forward to it?
It depends on where you're at in the corridor. When we first announced that we were going forward in the next 5 years, the folks that are immediately adjacent to the corridor that maybe bought their house 5 years ago and just saw the lines on the map and didn't necessarily think that it was going to be there anytime soon. Now it's here. So they're a little hesitant and want to make sure that whatever we design and build blends into the neighborhood. Now that being said, that corridor has been on that line on a map since 2003. So, but people that have bought houses after that, it's all on timing, and sometimes you don't really know that information because you don't think it's going to be built in your lifetime.
Sure. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, it's just it's an exciting time for the city of Sioux Falls as well as for the surrounding communities. And people want answers today, but we just don't have the answers today. We know that the alignment is set, and it's a 200-foot right-of-way. And for instance, the area between Cliff and Minnesota, some of the property owners have said it doesn't look like you could fit it in there, but it's not an Interstate 229. It's it's an arterial street. We can fit it in there, and we will. And we will work with the neighbors to make sure it has the least amount of impact as we can. But we're super excited about it.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate all the great information. Hope all of you really enjoyed that, and we really hope to see you at our upcoming Planning Commission meeting coming up in December. So thank you for joining us today. Make it a great day, Sioux Falls.